Episode 6 of the Siege Mentality podcast is fired up and ready to go, just like I am. Of course, as always, I am Duke here with the Siege. How we doing, Siege?
I was doing fine until I found out you changed the rules. You changed the rules.
You know how you gave me all this crap about the NBA changing the rules once we got to the playoffs, and they were always the rules?
Those were always the rules.
Same thing with the RB battle. Your champ.
This is a load of crap. Dude, we're not dropping the lowest score. This is a dumb game if you drop the score.
There's no reason to celebrate after 1 week, but of course I am ahead by 10
you looked at
points.
it, you realized you lost by 0.1 points. We're like, this sucks. Oh, how can I win? Oh, I got it. I'll just drop the lowest score.
Just run it back. Run back the tape. We talked about drafting.
Dropping the lowest score is dumb. I don't care if that's what the tape says is not. That's dumb.
Drop the lowest score.
That's stupid. We're drafting the best players in the league. Don't drop anyone who sucks.
Probably average scores for running backs here, but you drop the lowest. He's down to 76. Of course,
let's be clear. I drafted all good players. You drafted a player that sucked.
With some game theory, went ahead and took a risk with Saquon Barkley in a tough matchup.
This is stupid. It was not game theory. You thought he was going to crush against Pittsburgh. You, like everyone else did.
12.6, and I end up with 80. This
game is dumb. I'm protesting the game.
6.1.
So we get rid of this drop the score crap.
Up by 10 points.
The listeners are going to completely agree with me. Dropping the lowest score when we don't have a salary cap is ridiculous.
I love that. This guy's short-term
You can play the game yourself this week. I'm not playing. This
completely
is ridiculous.
Out the
Drop
window.
The lowest score. That's ridiculous.
Boo-hoo, I'm behind, so now I'm going to cry.
Oh, no. That's just you're changing the rules as we go. This is absolutely ridiculous. Dropping the lowest score when you get Christian McCaffrey, that's just ridiculous.
This is the Siege Mentality Podcast. As always, we're brought to you by EliteFantasy.com and EliteSportsBetting.com. All your DFS and sports betting needs. I'm sure you saw this again, Siege. We got a guy, Brian Thomason, longtime subscriber, who actually interviewed earlier this week. We'll have a video coming out with him either Thursday or Friday talking about his monster 400K win in week 1. Super sharp guy, statistical background. I love talking to him about his theory as far as how he approaches DFS. He just hit another 20K or something like that in baseball. Our guard, Brian Healy, hit for over 100,000 in baseball. Basically, everyone but me.
He got 130K with a 0 at pitcher, which is pretty damn impressive.
Unbelievable. Everyone but me's winning right now. DFS, how you doing lately?
It's been fine. Perfectly mediocre. I mean, last week I had a couple things go really wrong, so it could have been bad, but had a couple things go really, really right, so worked out. I'm going to have to go back and listen to last week's pod. There's no way you said drop the lowest score. It's a load of crap.
It's in the tape, man. It's like
such a joke. I would have won by 0.1.
Hilarious. Hey, speaking of DFS.
Why are we dropping the lowest? We should let the listeners vote. This idea that we're dropping the lowest score is ridiculous.
We should definitely start a contest, get a week into it, and then let the listeners vote on how we want to finish it out.
You created the rules as we went along. You didn't even pre-up. You're like, we're playing this game, by the way. Like, as we're like in the pre-show. You probably had sat there and studied it for like an hour, and you made me do it on the fly.
I would. We need to open up our text messages, open up our DMs, record everything pre-show so people can get a feeling for what I deal with going through this show.
I just asked what time Eastern, because you never put damn time zone on what time it is, and I wake up on, and I don't know if it's Eastern or Central because you're too busy to put in Eastern time. ET.
Are you a Central Times and Elite time zone guy?
Central time zone is the only time zone.
I guess I got used to it. Anyway, we got a lot to get to. And Siege, you got to be a happy guy. We'll start with soccer here. Gareth Bale to Spurs, man.
Yeah, we're starting with soccer.
Gareth Bale, at once, maybe even still is. Maybe Pogba eclipsed it. The richest transfer in the history of world soccer. Gareth Bale leaves Spurs, goes to Real Madrid, making oodles of money, now rumored to be coming back. And I think it's actually official. Not official, but the man, Fabrizio Romano, has confirmed it is a go. You got to be feeling good about our boy Gareth Bale back to Spurs.
And then we signed a left back, too, that's actually talented.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was a good day. It was a good day to be a Spurs fan. I think they're now, borderline Premier League contenders if they can get themselves in shape quick.
Whoa. Okay, hold on.
Borderline contenders, not real contenders, but like borderline.
I will say, if we were in like a simulation where no one got injured, I wouldn't argue that much with you because the first 11, assuming they can sort out kind of that central attacking midfield spot, is extremely competitive. They have good depth at right back now. They have good depth and strength at left back as well. The front three of Kane, Son, and Bale is up against any three in the world, in my opinion. but depth is still the issue here.
I'm not really worried about the midfield depth, but maybe we have talent there. We just got to.
It's more so Kane. It's more so Kane, right? If he goes down, then what?
Well,
Lucas
yeah.
can't.
I mean, sure, if Kane goes down, it's going to be an issue, but I mean, he's due to stay healthy one of these years, right?
So wait a minute. Where'd you have Spurs before, or where do you have them now after these moves?
Like 4th, 5th, and now they're like 2nd, 3rd.
I'd have to give you odds, but I would love to bet with you on that. I will say Mourinho, after the break, did a tremendous job with the club. He's brought in his guys, so maybe you're right, but I had him like 6th, 7th, and now I have him 4th, 5th. So definitely a big jump with these new moves. So congrats to you.
6th, 7th last year. Like they're going to be better than they were last year.
Well, now they are, yeah.
They finished and that was like last season. Nothing went right.
Injuries are the biggest thing.
It wasn't even injuries. They got like shafted on 3 red cards. That cost
Kane
them,
was
6
out
points.
for like 3 months. That's a big loss. Sonny got the red card. He was out. Then he hurt his arm.
There's a couple just horrendous like penalties that went against us too.
Yep.
I'm thinking about the Man United one. Like, yeah, I mean, there was probably 6-7 points just left on red cards.
By the way, I told you, Seige,
penalties
pre-show, and for everybody listening, if you haven't yet, and just enjoy kind of behind the scenes, I know they did one with the Carolina Panthers when Cam was there. All or Nothing on Amazon, fantastic series. They followed Tottenham all last year. Obviously, one of the most charismatic and best managers in the world. Jose Mourinho leads the squad, and it does show kind of from the boardroom all the way down to the kit man, kind of how that club is run. So if you're a fan of soccer or just kind of behind the scenes, make sure you go check that out. We talked about it a little bit, Seige, the bubble. We're getting towards the end here. Clippers, bit of a joke. I don't know how much
Still no
NBA
COVID
we can
cases
talk here.
in the bubble.
No COVID case. Thank God, right? God, I've been saying that from day one. Thank God. Hey, can I look? Playoff P, he's a joke. Kawhi, no points in the fourth quarter. That's not great. But how can people be blaming Jason Tatum for a Celtics loss when he goes for 30 and 14?
I just laughed at the take, and I just went, okay, like you clearly have no idea what you're talking about. Kemba was awful. And this series shows why, like, the Raptors series showed it a little bit, but this series is going to show it too. Like, missing Gordon Hayward is a problem. Like, we need him back like yesterday. Like, yeah, even if he gives us 15 minutes off the bench, I think that's the difference.
Yeah, the difference in quality of that and his skill set is missed. You know, when he signed that big contract, I kind of laughed to myself. But then he gets injured, and you see how much he's missed. Then he comes back, thank God, and now he's out again. I don't know. He's not a number 1 or 2 guy, though, right? Like, he's 3 or 4?
I mean, when he's healthy, he's a 2, like a really good 2. But maybe on a championship team, he's a 3. But he's a really good 2.
That's a good point. Championship team is a 3. Yeah, I'll take that.
But I mean,
my team
like
right now.
3. He's also like the 3 or 4 on this team. So
you're thinking championship for the Celtics?
I mean, it depends when he gets back. Like, I just, without knowing when he's going to come back, it's just basically impossible to project this series.
How about my Denver Nuggets? Western Conference Finals.
Your
Denver
fun Nuggets, when did you adopt them? Yesterday?
Today, just before the pod. I was literally looking through the roster. I'm like, who can I hate on this team? I can't find anyone. Maybe Michael Porter Jr. because he thinks he's a little bit better than he is. But
Michael Porter Jr. saved that series for the team by opening his mouth.
True.
They were flat. They were flatlining. And he's just like, we can't count on Jamal Murray and Jokic. Which, by the way, true statement. True statement. He said nothing inaccurate. And guess what, by the way? All the role players stepped up. So he should get like a trophy for that.
Jamal Murray's overperformed, in my opinion. Did you think he'd be this good?
No, but he got hot. Like, that happens in sports.
Who do you have winning the NBA Finals, by the way?
I mean, you have to say the Lakers are the favorite. But, I mean, I would like this. Like, a healthy Celtics versus the Lakers, I think the Celtics would give them a lot of problems. Like, they do everything the Lakers can't, which is shoot from the perimeter and have lots of switch guys on defense. Like, I think it'd be a good series. I don't think the Heat could score enough to compete with the Lakers.
No, totally agree. Let's move on to maybe the big story that, hey, we've been on since day one. The Big Ten is back, baby. College football. We had, I guess, kind of week 1 last week, went off without a hitch. Our guy Austin Mock went 10-2 against the spread, which is insane. And now the Big Ten's back, sort of. I'm not happy with this. They're going to start playing on October 25th.
They're just going to change the rules as they go. Have you not noticed that they have yet to enforce any of their own rules at any point along the way?
technically they've enforced every rule that
No, they're
they've
like, we're
set.
not going to play to the spring. Bullshit.
Then reevaluate.
You're going to reevaluate a weekend and go, you know what really matters? Money, 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 money.
By the way, maybe the worst take in the world by some USA Today writer saying this is the darkest day in Big Ten history.
God. I refuse to like acknowledge that.
I don't even want to talk about it. I had
that's
my
just
say
like
on
asking
Twitter.
for attention. No.
Yeah.
No.
That's what happens when you write for a newspaper that used to be popular and no longer is. But all right, Big Ten's back October 24th.
That's why you have to work for a newspaper.
The reason why I don't like it, and I think why Seige is saying is that they'll probably just change these rules as we go, is they've set very strict parameters as far as positive COVID tests, how many, how often, quarantine rules, 21 days out if they have a positive test. That's 3 games they're going to miss. And then, by the way, if Rutgers just has an outbreak and then all of a sudden cancels one of Ohio State's 8 games, they're out of the college football playoff. And that's probably why you're saying they're going to change the rules.
Yeah, they'll change the rules.
Are you excited? Is that too late? Is Big Ten football back too late?
Yeah. I mean, the whole purpose is to get Ohio State into the playoff, right? So, like, they'll just move the schedule around to make sure Ohio State gets 8 games.
Well, I think they want someone involved. The obvious team would be Ohio State. Is
There's
Michigan
no one
even
else
going
that's even going to be in 8 games? There's no one else that's going to play well enough to get in there.
I was actually talking to a buddy last night who is a big fan of North Carolina. Thinks they have a decent chance this year, which is hilarious. God bless them.
Did you not watch the Syracuse game?
Yeah, right. But basically, he was saying
couldn't figure out a 3-3-5 zone. It's the easiest defense to figure out in the world.
He was crying because they're playing Ohio State and others in the Big Ten are playing less games than teams in the ACC.
Well, their game against Charlotte just got canceled, so there you go. Now you tell your friend they're back where they need to.
That's a good thing. That was one of the games we're going to have to break down this Saturday on Tailgate Teasers. But anything else you want to talk about college football before we move on, Seige?
Notre Dame, after a sluggish first half, got their shit together, thank God.
Austin and I both on Duke. They did cover, but
it was an easy cover. As soon as they got to 21.5, even I was just like,
yeah,
a little Duke.
But this is just survive in advance, right? College football. Just win, move on. No one cares.
Yeah, this is all about survive in advance until like middle of October. Don't get upset. Don't have anything stupid. Notre Dame bringing in Charlie Weiss Jr.'s team wasn't the world's best plan, but hey, whatevs.
All morning, I've been flipping back and forth between the U.S. Open. Winged Foot, I mentioned last night in a tweet. I was so pumped for this. You ended up setting your lineups, I think, from that. I just finished mine.
I mean, I might have remembered, but odds that I would have remembered were probably slim to none. I was doing best ball drafts till like 2 a.m. And so, yeah, you were like, oh, Wingfoot. I was like, oh yeah, gotta finalize.
Shit, I better do that. Yeah, the rough looks brutal, but from what I've seen, they're kind of handling it, which is it depends on where they're at. Around the greens, it looks impossible.
Just make it harder tomorrow. Like,
yeah,
the winner's going to be over par. Like the USGA will do what it takes to get the winner over par.
I think I said +2. I think we can get there.
Sounds about right. Like
Patty Reed with the hole-in-one already this morning.
But I think they're just going to ratchet it up big time.
Anything else you want to talk about, Seige, before we jump into our NFL coverage here?
Oh, hey. My guy who was +6 through 8 kind of actually like stabilized. Like a birdie or 2 down the stretch. +4 is impossible to make the cut from.
Shout out to the guy. I got to find this. Where is he? I had mentioned that I was all jacked up for Winged Foot, and he sent me just 1 or 2 words, Ramis Højgaard, who apparently is some young European phenom. Yeah, I threw in a small wager on him, +6 through 9 holes.
Yeah, well, that's what happened to my guy. My guy like couldn't make a par. Like you could just tell he was just begging to make a par, and then he finally made a couple pars in a row, and then finally like stabilized the round. But it just took like 8 holes. I think your guy had the same problem. I actually liked him too. Actually, I thought about he had the same issue, just 5 bogeys right away in the first 6 holes, and then once he stabilized, it was fine. But just you go +6 through 8, you're gonna be in trouble.
I got a big golf trip planned in May over to Bandon Dunes, and we were talking about it. We plan these things so far out. Married, kids, you only have so many days that you can actually go have fun. I think the planning and the leading up is almost nearly as fun as the actual trip itself. The trip's going to be a grind. We're playing 18, 36 holes a day. Like, it's going to be fun, but just sitting there making bets, planning, getting it all ready, spending all the money to buy tickets, that's half the damn fun.
Yeah, I did that this summer. I went down to Branson and did 18 on Friday, 36 on Saturday, 18 on Sunday, 18 on Monday.
It's a grind, man.
Yeah, the 36 was a grind.
And no carts at Bandon, all walking.
Oh, God.
I'm playing 18. I'm playing 36 one day. I'm going to be dead if I play 36 back-to-back days.
Oh, have fun.
I got one buddy who's a total hardo. I'm playing at least two rounds a day. Cool, man. We'll chalk you out for the next day. But look, let's talk some NFL. Where do you want to start, Seige? You want to start with the Jets not winning?
Okay. Yeah, they were terrible in the first quarter. They were fine after that.
Nearly came back. J.K. Dobbins scores 2 touchdowns.
That was just whatever. That was game flow. The game was over early. Not freaking out about that either.
Do you think he has a role moving forward?
Yeah, he's got a role. I just don't think it's going to be that role. Like, Ingram was getting the majority of the work until the game got out of hand. So I'm not freaking out about that one either.
Yeah. A couple other guys had similar roles, similar impact on a small role as well that I think people will overreact, especially on season long, but maybe DFS as well. Did have a couple big
reactions in season long have been DraftKings opened up some best balls for the rest of the season. Oh,
yeah, how'd that go? I didn't play any. How'd they go?
Mine were just not great week one because I have a lot of guys that just sat out: Sanders, Sutton, Galladay. So it wasn't great at week one, but these week two best balls they put up, overreaction essential. Like Betty Snell in the third round, and you're just like, hello.
You mentioned it, Seige. One of the things I like to do in week two of DFS is hit on those forgotten guys who did sit out week one.
I'm sorry. Oh, you're talking about guys who sat out. I thought you were going to say guys that underperformed. And then
No. Guys who sat out who get kind of forgotten. And so some of their ownership now goes to people who overperformed. And then all of a sudden you create a little edge there that likely wouldn't have been if they just had an average week in week one.
Yeah, for sure. That totally makes a ton of sense.
Jonathan Taylor, let's talk about – we'll go obviously game by game here. We'll talk about all the 1 p.m. games as we'll do every week. That's the plan at least moving forward. But Michael Thomas, high ankle sprain, thought it was going to be somewhat minor. Looks like he'll miss a couple weeks. Does this bump up Kamara? Who does this help?
Kamara's probably the biggest winner. That's for sure. That's what I would say is the biggest winner. But, yeah, it's not great for the offense in general, but Kamara's the guy I'd want.
Yep.
Moving forward, just the touchdown equity is going to be amazing.
How about Marlon Mack, who looked okay before he goes out with the weird Achilles injury? Jonathan Taylor, to me, he looked okay. He looked really good on that, one screen. Showed some good acceleration. Is he who you're looking to target out of that Indy backfield, if anyone?
Yeah. I mean, sorry, you say Indy backfield?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's going to just be like all game flow dependent. Like if they're ahead, it's going to be Jonathan Taylor. If they're behind, it's going to be Hines. So like, you got a magic 8 ball. You tell me if they're going to be ahead or behind. I'll tell you who's going to perform.
Yeah, I saw someone say it may eat into Hines a little bit, but Taylor probably fills right into that Mac role where he's the every down back with maybe a little bit more of a little work in the passing game out of the backfield. But I mean, Hines is what, third down? Basically, that's all he is.
No, he'll get some work on first and second. It's going to be like 65-35, 60-40, I'd say.
At least one head out of that 3-headed backfield.
Role, but that's what I'll start
at. George Kittle hurts his knee, not good. I haven't seen a timeline on when he comes back. Played 61 or 62 snaps.
So I'm really interested to see if he travels because this is a team that's staying on the East Coast between weeks 2 and 3. So I'm curious to see if he travels because like if he doesn't travel, like they're basically rolling him out for 2 weeks. I suspect he travels, sits out Sundays, plays in the week 3, but who knows?
Good point. Lev Bell, Devontae Parker both pick up hamstring injuries. I don't know. I know we talked a little bit about that Miami wide receiver core, but Jets are trash.
Jets are bad, yeah.
I'm up, baby. 1-0. Hey, let's talk Thursday Night Football. Cincinnati at Cleveland.
Do we have to?
We do. Why? And here's the thing. I don't think Joe Burrow was that bad in week 1. What did you think of his overall play?
I thought he made one really boneheaded decision that cost him the game.
I think he looked like he was really struggling to get up to the speed of the game, but once he did, he was okay.
That pass the screen pass to Joe Mixon that was intercepted was just absolutely unacceptable.
Yep.
That was just absolutely ridiculous. I think he looked nervous. I think he was really nervous under the pocket pressure. That being said, his receivers didn't help get him open.
Right.
The play calling wasn't all that great. Cleveland's pretty bad. This is a spot where if Cincinnati's any good, they should just win this game. But
Is Cleveland, by the way, John Ross should be taken out back and shot for his alligator arms on that one deep pass. Why didn't he lay out for that? Blew my.
Who?
Touch Ross.
It's John Ross. What'd you expect?
Yeah. I'm struggling with this line, Siege. Browns are -6. We have a 43.5 total.
I'll take the Bengals +6.
That's where I am too, but I'm wondering if it's an overreaction to how bad the Browns look. I don't think they're as bad as they look.
They're pretty bad.
Just defensively, you're really worried about them, or
last year?
What's that?
I said I kind of just thought the Bengals didn't get enough respect last week, and they really kind of should have won that game. The guy doesn't tear his quad like during the kick. They probably are favored to win that game at that point. So yeah, I kind of think the Bengals are still the better team. So I'll take the points, but this game's gonna be.
Yeah, it is weird. We've been without football for so long, but Tuesday, Wednesday were rough, man. I was looking for something football-wise to watch. So I'm probably going to watch it tonight. It's probably going to be disgusting.
I'll watch. It's just going to be boring.
I tell you what's wild. AJ Green snuck up on me for being 32 years old. It feels like he joined the league not too long ago. I know he's been around forever, but
that's what happens when you miss 3 seasons with injury.
Yeah, I know, right? So as far as Thursday to Monday slates, I'm not loving a whole hell of a lot here, but betting wise, I'm kind of with you, man. I'm leaning the Bengals here and just take the points, but
I'm not sure I'm going to bet it. It's just if you forced me to, that's what I would do.
Cool. Let's move on to Sunday then. Atlanta at Dallas. Dallas -4, 52.5 point total. Atlanta defense.
So the total's 52.5?
Yeah, that's what it was yesterday. Let's double check these numbers as we go.
No, that's fine. It sounds about right.
I know it's Russell Wilson. I know Seattle's explosive, but Atlanta's defense. I mean, there's dudes just running.
Did you see what
completely
Raheem Morris said, their defensive coordinator?
No.
Let's see. I tweeted it out let's see how far down my Twitter timeline is. I don't want to misquote, but I don't think I tweeted a ton yesterday, so I think we'll be able to find this one.
It's now 4.5, by the way.
Okay.
Let's see here for Dallas.
More than I thought since this came out.
While you're looking that up,
there was a tweet where Raheem Morris was like, yeah, our plan was to stop Chris Carson. And I was like, what? Your plan was to stop Chris Carson? And he's like, Russell Wilson surprised us. I was like, what? Huh? Russell Wilson surprised you? What are you talking about?
It's not like we've seen him do it for how many years now? That's Raheem Morris, right? I thought he was actually a decent DC. I was hoping he'd turn some things around here in Atlanta, but I don't think they have the personnel nor the scheme to – now, again, we don't want to completely overreact after 1 week, but holy hell, that looked awful.
Yeah, he said didn't take the passing attack as seriously as he should have.
Well, I wonder if they –
Wilson, DK Metcalf, and Tyler Lockett. You might want to get on that.
Greg Olsen gets in there, grabs a touchdown, I think, right? Did Greg Olsen get a touchdown? I don't know. But, I mean, obviously, we would think this carries over into week 2 here. Dallas at home. Mike McCarthy. I think this is the exact same Mike McCarthy that we've always had. Kellen Moore, is he even good at his job? We're 2 head coaches now. Same results.
I'm not going to panic. It was 1 game. But, yeah, there was definitely a little too much running. But it's 1 game. I'm not going to freak.
Amari Cooper, 14 targets, 10 receptions, 81 yards. Gurley looked okay for the Falcons. I see that it's moving now towards Dallas a little bit. It's up to -4.5 here for Dallas. I was taking Dallas at 4.5. It's not that big a difference to me. The total, I love the over here.
Tottenham's losing in freaking Bulgaria. That's not good.
Too much focus on the Bale news.
Ugh.
Yeah, is that 2 legs? That's got to be 2 legs, right?
I don't think so.
Oof, just a playoff. Talking about Champions League soccer here, folks. All right, I like Dallas and the over here. Any lean on this game, Siege, and any production for fantasy-wise that you're targeting for Sunday? It's got to be a popular game, right? Bring it back.
Yeah, this could be really popular. trying to see. I'm trying to learn the rules as we go. I'm trying to do two things at once. It's not going very well.
Well, hey, sneaky, one of the best wide receiving cores in the NFL. Falcons over 400 yards passing last week for Matty Ice. I can say anything right now because Siege is looking up rules. This is awesome.
You are definitely looking. I'm really curious to find out if this is one or two. I think it's one. It's one game. This is not good.
That's what we call podcasting, baby.
This is not good. For like Spurs losing to this random Bulgarian team is a disaster. We'll call it what it is.
I tell you what we'll do. No one. I mean, this is dumb because no one's gonna listen to this as we're live here. But what are the live odds for Spurs?
Oh, that's a good question. I should look that up. I mean, it's like in the 72nd minute, so this is not like they just conceded. This is bad. As I was pulling it up.
This is bad. UEFA Champions League.
It's Europa.
Oh, is it?
League.
Oh
yeah.
my God, who cares?
I mean, I would like to get some young guys some minutes in freaking Europa League. Like the fact that we're going to lose to this freaking Bulgarian team is not great.
By the way, sneaky stab in the side there, talking about Champions League for Spurs. I knew it was
I understood that. I just ignored it. Plus 500. You know what? We're gonna lose some money right on here.
This will be a Jose job. I bet they score before we're done with the podcast. How about that? All right. Look, hey, we will see some production from this game. I think it'll be popular. I don't know if this is a game I really want to fade, but from a GPP standpoint,
I mean, this is going to be the chalk game of the week.
Yeah, it's going to be so chalky, right?
You got to make your mind up. You want in or you want out?
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Buffalo at Miami. Bills -6 on the road, 41 total. Implied team totals here, pretty wild. I don't think we learned a thing from the Bills against the Jets. I will say when they're up 21-0, I was feeling pretty good about this offense, and then all of a sudden they become the Bills again, and it's 21-17. Josh Allen looked good. Decent. We'll say decent. 312 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Rushed for another one. This is kind of the Bills, though, right?
Yeah, it's definitely the Bills. That's definitely what they do. So
look good. Half a game looked like absolute dog shit the rest of the game. They did pull out the win, which I think is a step in the right direction. The Miami team, I was thinking Tua would redshirt this year, but Fitzy's getting old quick, man.
Yeah, he is. That's for sure.
See, can you focus on the podcast?
I am focusing on the podcast. What do you want from me? You're saying these statements that I can't even respond to. Fitz is boring.
When does Tua come in?
Not anytime soon.
So we're stuck with Ryan Fitzpatrick. Miami
tell
Dolphins.
The Dolphins to learn how to not be stupid, not be idiots with their play calls. They knew exactly what to do week 17, and then they tried a new game plan called run the football. It didn't work for 3 quarters. They started throwing the football, and they had massive success again. Like, maybe you should have started with what worked last time. Just a thought.
That's what I was going to ask you. What do you do with this running back situation? Because there's no good pieces.
You don't play any of the Miami running backs. Miami should spread it out wide, 4 wide every play, and just throw the freaking football. You're not going to run. Stop pretending you can. Spread it out. Let's go. You got all these fast receivers. Use them.
If they do, let's say Devontae Parker's out, and if they do, any chance you like them +6 against Buffalo here?
I love them +6 against Buffalo.
Ooh, okay.
I think this is another team I think that could beat the Bills.
Let me know.
Yeah, can I get some money line?
Let me know. Yeah, if you want to do your true
I'll
odds.
take the Dolphins money line. What do I got here? Plus 200. I'll even take all the vig. Keep the math simple.
Plus 200, our usual bet. Want to do that?
Yeah.
I will update the sheet.
Yes, you can update the sheet.
All right, there we go. We're just gonna bet against the Bills every single week. I love it.
I gotta be honest, pretty much. If they keep getting this kind of love, yeah.
Yeah, 6 is a lot on the road to basically anyone. So I was going to take
Florida in September.
Yeah, I was on the Dolphins +6. I don't know about money line, but I like your bet there. Not really loving anything from a fantasy perspective here. I guess we can move on. Panthers at Bucks. Bucks -9. This is a what the hell is going on game for me. I don't think Brady looked as awful as everyone's saying.
Yeah.
His bad throws looked terrible. Overall, I don't think he was terrible.
He's done. He's washed. Like, just own it, world. I love the guy. He's been a part of my life since I was like a little kid. It's over. It's done. Move on.
Is he significantly
getting rid of Jameis for him was a mistake.
Do you think he's worse this year than he was last year? Significantly?
Yes. And I think this game could be one where we find out for sure if they lose to Carolina at home.
Who? Their
9
defense.
points is a lot of points.
Yeah. Nearly pulled off the upset last week against the Raiders, too.
The Raiders looked so bad.
Josh
There's a
Jacobs.
couple broken coverages on Josh Jacobs' leak outs. Like, that game is completely different.
Yeah, I mean, I think we know the game plan for the Panthers here. Just have Teddy Bridgewater not lose the game, try to ride McCaffrey. Although he only had 4 targets out of the backfield. I don't know if you were shocked by that.
I think they realized after the first half, like, oh, maybe we should give him the ball more.
Yeah, we should probably
I'm
do.
not worried about
Did he
that.
have 0 at halftime, or am I dreaming that?
1, I think.
Good Lord. Robbie Anderson looked decent.
He caught 1 ball.
I thought he went over 100 yards.
Yeah, because he caught like an 80-yard bomb.
Yeah, that's fine. That's all you're looking for out of Robbie Anderson, right? He's not your.
Yeah, you know what he's going to do? He's going to catch 80-yard bombs every single week.
So he's Devontae Parker. He'll do it 8 weeks and get a big contract.
Who knows? Oh, red card, baby. All right, here we go. We're live now. We're live.
We should just do this live on YouTube. At least people can tune in and sweat the games out with us here.
Ooh, man, God, this team is terrible. But I'm getting 5-1 on them to win the game.
Did you throw a bet down on Spurs Live?
Yeah, I did.
Let's go Spurs.
I mean, they're not going to score. This is classic Spurs, but that's okay.
I got nothing else I really want to talk about for this game. Anything from you, Siege? Panthers, Bucks?
Not at all.
I don't even think
I will have 0 DFS plays that are not named Scotty Miller from this game. Maybe some Christian McCaffrey if I was.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think even McCaffrey will be a little chalky this week. Anyways, Broncos at Pittsburgh. Steelers -7.5, 41.5 total. Drew Lock.
Not his fault. Tell Judy to catch the ball.
Yeah, I'm a Judy backer. That was a little disappointing.
If he catches that slant, he goes for 25 yards there in field goal range, the game's over. It's over.
I will say, he got the ball out of his hands.
Denver should have run the ball. No, Judy should catch the ball. The play action pass was perfect. He hit him right in the numbers. Like, tell Judy to catch the ball. And it was a second drop he had. So, like, he should have just been paying attention and caught the ball. That was not Drew Lock's fault. I saw, like, all this, like, oh, he had the least positive pass. Shut up. Pro Football Focus is, like, worthless now. They also said that Chase Claypool had a better game than freaking C.J. Henderson. Like, you clearly didn't watch the games if you did not think C.J. Henderson was the best rookie in week 1. Period. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Hard to disagree with that. On the positive, Drew Lock didn't take a sack, got the ball out quick.
He was good.
Yeah.
He missed a couple deep balls. Okay. He also was on, like, wide receiver 4.
Good's probably stretch. What do you think about Pittsburgh? Big Ben took him about 20 seconds to start limping all over the field.
I kind of like Denver plus 7.5 here. I think this is – I hate the short week traveling east part of this. I hate that, but I really like – I think Pittsburgh's overrated. Like, Big Ben wasn't very good. The Giants are just worse. I don't know. I saw a lot of, like – I saw someone be like, the Steelers are Super Bowl contenders now. And I'm like, all right, calm down. They look like mediocre at best against the Giants. Can we just, like, pump the brakes here a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, the defense looked good, but then you're like, well, shit, it's the Giants, though. You know, like, you can't get that jacked.
I mean, they were going to get Saquon, but they gave up bombs to Slayton all over the place.
Yeah, that's true. Juju looks good. By the way, is Cortland Sutton back? I know he returned to practice. Is he going to be healthy this week?
Yeah. It looks like they kind of sat him out week 1 just to make sure.
Just to get him a little more. Okay, that helps a little bit. I don't like either side of
this.
A little
bit. Going from Deshaun Hamilton and Tim Patrick to Cortland Sutton, it helps a lot.
What's the war for Cortland Sutton?
I love Cortland Sutton.
He's good. You like the Broncos plus 7.5 here?
Yeah, I do.
I don't like the Steelers enough to take the other side, but I like that. Lions, Packers, Pack -6.5. I'll see if it's still there because I hit that early.
It's 6 now.
Okay, I got 6.5 on mine still. I don't want to overreact to Aaron Rodgers. I think the Vikings defense sucks too, but Rodgers looks sharp, man. Devontae Adams
this
obviously
all depends. Like, does Detroit have their corners back? Like,
yeah.
Their defense was great. Like, Trubisky was doing nothing. Then their top 2 corners go out. Acuna couldn't suit up, and then their other corner went out. They were on their 4th and 5th corners, and then Trubisky picked them apart. And then Stafford had a "what the hell are you doing" moment. The teams up by what were they up 21? I think.
Yep.
Or 17 or 18. We're like 779-3 in the NFL's history. before that game.
And they should have won. DeAndre Swift drops the pass in the end zone.
Boy, that was brutal. As someone who had a lot of Detroit plus 2.5, that was a real, or minus 2.5. That was a little bit of a dagger. But I mean, I would imagine Aaron Rodgers is going to be able to throw over the football here, if they want. But I think they'll have some success running the ball too. So 49.5 feels a little smidge high, but I get it. Like if Green Bay puts up a quick 20 and Detroit has to throw the football, the tempo is going to be pretty quick. So I can see how it gets there, but I also could see how it kind of slows down if Detroit can kind of keep this close to the start.
I actually agree with that game flow a little bit as a possibility. I'm actually more.
God bless you, Harry. Another red card. They're down to 9, and Kane has tied the game.
I told you they would score before the end of this podcast.
I should have fired another bet when they were plus 500 after the first red card. I thought about it. I didn't even. What did I get? I thought like plus 460 or something. Plus 500. So the line was basically the same. I thought about refiring too, but they still have to get me another one for it to be a winner.
Hey, for our longtime listeners, this was a soccer podcast.
It was a soccer podcast, yeah. And let's be real, it's a big day in Spurs. So please don't screw this up, Spurs.
I'm actually more on.
If there was a team that could concede against a C-rate team with 9 men, it would be Spurs. But I got confidence at this.
You got to feel good. You got to feel good.
Yeah, you got to feel good.
Rodgers 6,900 on DK. Stafford 6,200. You grabbing either of these?
Probably not.
I was thinking about grabbing Matt Stafford.
Honestly, asking me who I'm going to play on a Thursday at noon is probably not the way to handle this show. Here's the amount of research that I have done so far.
For everyone at home who's not watching on YouTube, that would be a 0.
0.
Right?
I get around to football research, honestly, during my Chili's lunch at 3:30 in the afternoon after we do this pod. That's when I'll start. I'll throw a football pot on my ears and I'll start thinking about it.
Siege records a football.
I just hate these early week overreactions where people are just like, "Oh, this guy has to be chalk," and it's like when defensive players get hurt and injured in practice and things like Godwin happen, and I just don't want to get clouded by all this early week chalk. I want to what's the good plays once I know who's in and who's out. That's what I want to know. Everything else is just noise.
You know what we didn't mention with the Panthers Bucks? We didn't mention Godwin. Evans was basically.
I mentioned Scotty Miller.
Yeah,
Godwin's in the concussion protocol. Evans was hurt. I mentioned Scotty Miller.
Yep, there we go. Okay, let's see here.
So you're complaining about me not listening to the show. You're not listening to the show.
Just trying to keep this train on the tracks, man. Rams at Eagles. Rams slight favorite, I want to say. 1.5 is what I had.
This is a weird game for me. This is a really weird game.
It's a big time win. Go ahead.
That Washington game was just they got depleted offensively, and Wentz just had no time in the pocket. They really should have just gone to jumbo and tried to just throw deep balls to Rager and Deshaun every play. They just couldn't protect Wentz at all. I was surprised he made it through the game. Lane Johnson's back. Miles Sanders is back. But I was kind of impressed with the Rams. I know everyone's complaining about the Cowboys. Honestly, to me, the more impressive team in week 1 was the Rams. I thought the Rams just played good football. But this is a West flying east for a 1 o'clock kickoff. This is a weird one for me. I kind of could see how this one turns into a total shootout.
Sneaky GPP option.
Yeah, 46 total feels low to me. Now, if Philly can't protect Wentz, it'll be ugly again. But I just have to think they're going to sell out to do it.
Tough first 2 weeks. I think our Washington football team has maybe the
Bailey.
There it is, 2-1 Tottenham. If you guys were able to listen at home, you would have got that bet in with us. You'd be swimming in cash right now.
I should have listened to you. I should have fired another one in there.
That's a Jose way, man. Create a little controversy, get the team to rally together. Let's go do what we were supposed to do. Get that W. And now he looks like a genius, I'm sure.
Oh, but it's the fact that it's Ndombele too. It's just after last year, it's just so key too. Brought him on as a sub.
Play the man.
Scores. That's honestly almost as big as the Sergio signing, is to get him some confidence.
Well, that's what I was saying. I think the Washington D-line is pretty nasty this year. So the Eagles, I think the first part of the game that we saw from the Eagles is hopefully what we'll see here. I'm with you though, Siege. I think the Rams are the better team, but getting points on the road is curious to me. I'm on their Eagles here.
I don't know if I want to be on. I kind of think if you want to be on the Eagles, just take the over.
Yeah.
How are the Eagles going to win a defensive slug? Like, there's no way, right?
But, I mean, what did you see from Jared Goff that impressed you?
I was impressed with the whole offense. I got to be honest. I thought they played – Dallas's defense was good. I mean, it's not as good now because, like, half their team got hurt. But the team that played week one was good. I was impressed with the play calling. I was impressed with kind of how he just was methodical. He didn't make any huge mistakes. I was really impressed with Jared Goff week one.
McVay looked like he was back to his old self. I'm kind of –
I really just like the whole system. I like the way they really designed it. I was impressed. I really was. I mean, he threw for 275. You know, I was impressed. I really was.
20 for 31, 0 touchdowns, 1 pick.
But that's because Brown just, got like the ones close to this.
Yeah.
Once again, poor Jared Goff has another ton yardage without a touchdown game. Like he was the most unlucky player last year, and he's off to another 275 without a score. Is just ridiculous.
Trending towards a trend, not just a fluke.
But
they love handing it off on the goal line.
What I like from the Rams is I think that Cam Akers is going to be the guy sooner rather than later. I know everyone's all talking about Brown. But if Brown plays that good and still splits the carries 18-14, like this eventually is going to be the Akers show.
Yeah.
And I was not on him preseason. And I think like the week 2 best balls, I have been targeting Cam Akers as a 8th round guy. Like I don't know why his ADP dropped 3 rounds after that performance. I'm more encouraged than I was going into it.
Interesting. I agree with that. How about the Philly running back situation? Bit of a shit show right now. They need Miles Sanders back.
We're fine. Miles Sanders. He's back.
When's he supposed to be back?
He's playing this week. He's been practicing in full.
Then I love the Eagles. Love the Eagles plus 1.5 here.
I think just take you really think the Philly defense is any good? Like if you think the Philly's putting up 24 points, how does this game not go over?
I don't think they need to win. That's my thing.
You think the Rams offense is that bad?
No, I don't see McVay playing to a number. I think he plays the game, and if it's a close, tight game and there's not many turnovers, just kind of punt back and forth, a couple first downs, I don't see McVay going out of his way to push the envelope here.
You just beat Philly through the pass, like Dwayne Haskins showed you last week. You just throw the ball against them. I don't think you need to tell Sean McVay twice to throw the football.
Yeah. We may have
I like the over here. The more I've talked this, I think I really like the over because like either Philly's defense just gets run over and it's like 35-14 it gets over, or it shoots out. So yeah, I actually really like the Rams offense. This is more
there you go. Seige likes the over. I'll take Philly plus 1.5, I guess.
I'm gonna actually I saw the sports book.
Vikings at Colts. Colts -3, 48.5 total here. Colts just absolutely murdering survivor pools. Our fearless leader, Rob, the alcoholic, MLB model, took the Colts in all 3 spots. Absolutely brutal. You're clapping. Tell me you avoided the Colts.
Of course I avoided the Colts.
Who'd you take?
I took the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, that was a gimme. That's
It was a gimme.
Was there game theory involved there with everyone taking the Colts and Colts not being that great, or you just really like the Ravens?
I just want to know. I just don't take any part of road divisional games in week 1.
Yeah.
Just don't touch them.
Kind of a standard rule for survivor pool, right?
The Ravens are just a better team, and I really wasn't too worried about that. I just wanted to make – I'm a, get me through 4 weeks guy.
Yeah.
I don't care if I use good teams because I don't know who these mediocre teams that are going to underperform and overperform are. Give me a month of the sample size. Let me look at them, and then I can kind of make some decisions off of that.
For all of the hate of Tom Brady, why did anyone think Phillip Rivers was going to go to Indy and just lead them to a Super Bowl? He's 100 years old. He can never throw the ball down the field. His little
that game was really fluky.
Shovel push baby arm.
I don't want to hate on the Colts for that game. That game was really fluky. It just was one of those fluky Jacksonville, Florida games in September. Like I'm not freaking out about it.
You really are worried about Florida weather.
And did you not see the Colts this wither in the second half?
You think it was heat related?
It was like 100 degrees.
Oh man. Well, look, they have every opportunity here to show off that little baby
going
arm.
From Buffalo to Miami is just like the epitome of like cold to hot.
Yeah.
It's really hard to go have a bigger transition.
Packers absolutely torched this Vikings defense. We're looking at the Colts side here. Colts -3 against anyone right now.
This line is just screaming for you to the public is going to pound Minnesota in this spot. And and the Sharps are going to love Indy. I kind of am just going to take, if I was forced to choose, I'd take the Sharp side here and take the Colts -3. But I already know Minnesota +3 is going to be super contest and circa consensus.
Really?
There's just no way.
How'd you guys do week 1?
500, I think.
Nice. Opened at
we got screwed by Philly and the Lions, so it could have been a really good week. We were on those sides, and it's just like those are brutal losses.
This game opened Indy -3.5 with a 47 total. It's been bet to Indy -3, 48.5 in a lot of spots. Total's getting up there, but with this Vikings defense,
it's not good.
I don't know, man. What do you think about over/under on 48.5?
I kind of see this one shooting out. I think I'm going to have a bit of Phillip Rivers this week.
What is his price on DK?
I don't know. Probably not enough.
5,900.
Yeah, not enough.
That's going to be sexy.
Paris Campbell, is he still like 4,200?
I know he was cheap.
He was like, I had a bunch last week.
From the Ohio State University. He's 4,500. Yep.
Yeah, it's a smidge expensive, but
9 targets, 6 receptions, 71 yards. Didn't get in the end zone, but showed some explosiveness there on the offensive side of the football.
He looked good.
The Vikings defense did not. We like the Indy side here.
I think you have
here's my thing, Steve. Let me ask you this, because obviously as part of our bet in season long, everywhere I had Dalvin Cook. The Vikings just never had the goddamn ball. They just never had the ball. Like they couldn't get off the field.
Like you really can't complain. He ran about as pure as he could have, considering.
No, that was as lucky as it can possibly get. Don't get me wrong, but that's what I'm worried about.
That's about as lucky as you can get. Like that's running pretty pure.
Yeah, but that's what I'm worried about. This Vikings defense can't get off the field. So it's hard to take Vikings players from any standpoint if they don't have the damn ball.
I would want their receivers. I would love to have Adam Thielen this week. I mean, PPR guy, and they're going to be having to throw the football. Pretty good spot.
Thielen actually had a decent game last week. The good news is if their defense is that shitty, they'll be throwing and trying to come back as much as they can. I don't think it'll be as disproportionate as it was last week against the Packers, but I don't know. I'm staying away from this game altogether.
Yeah, that's probably from a betting perspective.
Yeah, from a betting perspective. Giants at Bears, 2 teams that I don't think are very good. Bears -542. Lowest total on the board, I want to say.
Yeah, because you know what? Both these teams suck.
What the hell's going on with the take that back.
Defense and GPPs is a fantastic option. Because everyone's like, oh, Mitch Trubisky's back. It's like, yeah, congratulations. He threw some passes against the fourth.
Back from what? Where was he ever from? He's never been good. Are these the 2 worst quarterbacks in the freaking NFL?
No. Ryan Tannehill's awful.
You hate Ryan Tannehill.
He was awful.
You hate him.
He would have had like 3 interceptions if it wasn't for like phantom calls against the Broncos last week.
Yeah, I think he's limited skill-wise, and he's
limited skill-wise. That means you're bad.
So Daniel Jones isn't limited skill-wise, but it has a pea brain.
Daniel Jones is
2 turnovers.
Perfectly bad. He's not terrible. He's perfectly bad.
He didn't fumble.
It's true. That is true.
Giants 0 rushing attack here. Everything has to be through the air. Trubisky got awful for 3 quarters and then closed his eyes and chucked it deep 3 times. I mean, this is the grossest game I think we've talked about since we started this podcast.
Yeah.
And poor Allen Robinson. Is he ever going to get a QB who can throw?
I don't know. Do they trade him to the Patriots?
Oh. You think he gets traded this year?
No.
Too expensive. Not enough of a market team's willing to compete. So, yeah, I don't think Bears will get their asking price.
Teams with salary cap remnants like New England and someone else. I can't remember who it is.
Trubisky does have, a little bit of a running game here.
Stop.
He's cheap.
Stop? You're not rostering Mitch Trubisky, and you're not betting on Mitch Trubisky.
5,500. I think our boy Ricky Sanders grabbed some Mitch Trubisky last week.
Yeah, he got bailed out by the Lions corners getting hurt. He was trash for 3 quarters.
Nothing to like here.
779-3 teams at the Lions situation after 3 quarters. 779-3 in the history of the football NFL. Lucky.
Can you take the Bears -5 against anyone?
No.
But you can't really trust the Giants on the road.
That's why I wanted to not talk about this game. Yawn. Next.
So, hey, listen, people, you don't have to bet every single game. This would be the one that you avoid. Niners at Jets. Niners -7, 42.5 is the total. Jets
This
are bad.
total's too high.
Total's too, yeah, right? I kind of like the under.
Yeah. I don't know how the Jets put up any points this week if Jamison Crowder sits. Like, by any, I mean literally more than 0.
Yeah, it opened at 43.5. It's already come down a point.
Actually,
San Fran opened at -4. It's about up to -7. Is Kittle injury? Is he back? Is he ready to go?
Does
it even matter?
Play him, but they might.
Any interest in Mostert? I mean, obviously he had the big catch, but
a lot of that last week was just because Tevin Coleman was super limited because of the air quality. So I'm not gonna freak. I like Mostert, but I think this week he's gonna be overowned because people who are like, "Oh, Tevin Coleman didn't play," but that was pure air quality. That was one of the plays that really kind of saved my week was Mostert.
Yep, sickle cell related, not.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry.
Jags at Titans. Titans -9. Last game of the 1 o'clock window here.
-9.
-9. And let me make sure that's where it's at now. I am seeing 8.5 on some books.
Yeah, that's because Jacksonville should not be. I mean,
this opened at Tennessee -11. By the way, 42.5 total.
That's because people were
Titans
like,
look like exactly the same team as they were last year.
Tennessee had no business winning that football game. Literally none.
And yet they did.
Yeah,
I got a stat for you.
They ran so pure. Freaking Melvin Gordon fumbles and hands him free 7. And then freaking they call that phantom knocking the guy out of the play personal foul, which I hadn't seen called in a decade in the NFL on the pick. Just ugh.
Before I give you my stat, Gardner Minshew. He's going to have weeks like that. He's not someone you target every single week. Certainly not season long, correct?
Correct. This game is going to be low scoring and boring, I think.
Here's the thing. I was immediately like Jags +9. Give me the 9. Then I looked last year under Vrabel. They had 9 regular season wins. How many do you think were by 10 or more points, Seige? The Titans.
Not many.
That's what I thought too. But I go back and look at it. 6 of the 9 wins were by 14 or more points. They beat the Browns by 20, Falcons by 14, Jags by 22, Colts by 14, Raiders by 21, and Texans by 21.
Look at those teams you just listed.
Not good teams, but the Jags, are they good?
No.
So I'm not taking the Titans side, but I was on the Jags. This has moved to a no bet for me. But I will say, with their game plan, when they get going and they're all downhill.
This just feels like Derrick Henry runs for 200 yards.
Yeah.
And his final score is like 24-3.
Yep.
And it's like not even that it's like not even that impressive a win, but it's a win. And people are like, oh, Tennessee's good. I just think like the Jacksonville offense versus this Tennessee team is just a really bad matchup.
Couldn't agree more. There it is. There's our 1 o'clock NFL game preview.
By the way, I'm going to start like week 3 at Minnesota, week 4 against Pittsburgh. I'm going to bet Pittsburgh. The Bills in week 5 is going to be like a who's who of like which team do I want to bet on. I hate both those teams.
We do have another bet down. Let's finish with this, Seeds. Let's do our running back draft. Remember, draft 4, drop 1.
No, I'm not participating if we're doing this drop crap.
Stop being a baby. Do the draft. You got the first pick.
We're choosing the best players in the football league. If you draft one that sucks, you should be mocked for it. You shouldn't get bailed out. I don't support bailouts. No, it's ridiculous.
This has literally been the rule since day one.
That's fine. It could be the rule for week 1. You can keep your win. It's stupid. We shouldn't keep the rule moving forward.
Okay. No, we have actual money on this. We're not going to change the rules mid-season here.
It's stupid. Did I even agree to put money on this?
You did. $500.
No, we did not.
Would you like to do it, or do you want to leave it with week 1 and me winning?
Yeah, I'd rather you win with week 1. Like this is like we're choosing the best 8 running backs in football. If you choose one that sucks, you should get mocked. Like I can't believe that the listeners aren't going to agree with me on this. Like if you can't figure out like 4 good running backs, like out of like 32, like you shouldn't get rewarded for that. You really shouldn't.
How about the best 3? 76 points to 86.1. You chose second.
I chose 4 running backs that all put above 22 fantasy points. Meanwhile, Mr. Duke over here runs pure on Josh Jacobs touchdowns, so therefore he wins, even though
and Dalvin Cook touchdowns.
Trash.
And Dalvin Cook touchdowns.
Oh yeah, and the Dalvin Cook touchdowns. Like, the wrong person won. The wrong person won.
Then you should be loving this.
That's why the way the game currently is constructed sucks.
And that's why I'm going to
I
win.
had CEH, Zeke, Kamar, and Carson, and did not win versus McCaffrey, Cook, Jacobs, and Barkley. Sorry, one set of players was clearly better than the other set. And by clearly, I mean by 0.1 points.
And yeah, right. 5.1 points. All right. You chose second pick last week because you liked McCaffrey's matchup. This week you have the first pick. Is that who you're taking?
Christian McCaffrey, please.
Okay. We mentioned it there at the last preview. I'm going to take Derrick Henry, and I'll also take Alvin Kamara.
Okay. I will take Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Ooh, I got to clean this up.
I will take Zeke.
Zeke?
Yep.
By the way, Zeke looked really good. Really good.
Yeah, this is kind of more for the receptions upside, I think, in this up-tempo game than I think he's going to grab a few extra receptions this week.
I had the opportunity clearly with the third pick to take Zeke. I went Dalvin Cook. I absolutely hate myself for it. I hated it at the time, but I was worried about Zeke this year, but he looked fantastic week one. Okay. Do I go back to the well? I mean, I think that Raiders New Orleans game could shoot out.
Definitely go back to the well with Josh Jacobs. That's a great idea.
Yeah, I think I might do that here.
You should. They couldn't stop Ronald Jones. I mean, if they can't stop Ronald Jones, I'm sure they can stop Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, I think we're going to take Jacobs here.
It's always good when I can bait you into a pick.
You baited me into a 31-point week last week. 35.9. You remember saying that last week? You baited me into Jacobs last week?
Yeah, he ran like a god. I mean, whatever. He's not going to run that pure every week.
He's definitely not going to run that pure every single week. Let's see here. Man, it's a bunch of – I mean, God bless. They look so terrible, but the Bears are no good. I want to take him again, but he's – man.
I mean, you can just drop him again because that's what you can do.
That's what I'm going to do. He's going to go off one week, and I'm gonna gloat for no reason. I think I'll just go back to the well. We'll take Saquon again. I hate him. God, I hate that pick.
Yeah, you should hate it. You should have hated it last week, but you created.
I didn't like it. I said it was a tough matchup, and he's not good or not going to do well, but we'll see. Your last pick, you got McCaffrey, Edwards-Helaire, and Zeke. I like your three. Your fourth pick?
Yeah, this is tough. I'm trying to decide between.
It's a very top-heavy week.
It's not. There's a bunch of guys I like. Like, this is not I have to choose one I don't like. I'm choosing between a lot of guys I like.
I mean, this is all upside. That's what we're looking for. Who's got the upside here, baby?
There's a lot of options.
Frank Gore's available.
I'm looking at Todd Gurley. I'm looking at Chris Carson. Looking at Aaron Jones.
I looked at Aaron Jones. I did look at him.
Aaron Jones, I think, is probably where I end up. But I mean, I could take Ronald Jones and just absolutely troll you.
Leonard Fournette scores 4 touchdowns.
God, that'd be the worst. But I guess I could drop from Ronald Jones if it goes poorly.
It's all upside.
How much work did Ronald Jones actually get? It felt like he was carrying the ball like every 5 seconds when I was watching the game. Is that actually how it was, or was it just one of those like when you're watching the games that it's not actually true?
I will say, Chris Carson got off to a slow start. Oh, wait. Who was I thinking of?
Chris Carson was amazing. 17 carries for 66, and Leonard Fournette had 5 carries for 5 yards. Boy.
I think it was Carson.
The sharp play would be to take Ronald Jones, but I'm not sure I'm good enough to do it. Minus 9-point favorites, but they'll try to get Fournette a touchdown. Give me Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones, there it is.
I'm gonna regret that, I think.
So just to recap, Seige went first, took McCaffrey, CEH, Zeke, and Aaron Jones. I got Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara, Josh Jacobs, and Saquon Barkley. That's going to do it for this week.
If Saquon should drop again, you should just be banned from drafting him.
We got it. Those are the rules, man. Hey, congratulations on the big Spurs win. Congratulations on Gareth Bale.
Spurs win versus some like random Bulgarian team.
Coming back from 1-0 down in the 75th minute.
Hey, you know what though? They provided me some 5-1 betting opportunities. I can't be too upset with them.
There you go. We may have to start doing this live so you can get these live bets as we go through. But for Seige,
hopefully Spurs aren't playing some random Bulgarian teams. So
EuroLeague. For Siege, I am Duke. This is episode 6 of the Siege Mentality Podcast. We'll see you guys next week. Adios.